that is strictly prohibited under all circumstances. But that's one side. The other side, the recipient, the debtor. Two, it is haram for him or for the debtor to pay more than what he receive, more than what is due for him to receive. But under the principle of necessity, if he's extremely under pressure, that he has no option but to take the loan from the bank because he is under extreme pressure, the principle of necessity will allow him to take loan in order to rescue himself. This one is lesser in the sense that he is not consuming the haram money. Because remember what we said before, whatever is defined as haram, whether it's small or big, should be avoided. Well, in this case, it's a bit less because the person is not consuming the haram money. But again, if he can avoid it, it is haram for him to get it.
I just want to ask here, what do you think should be those conditions, those extreme conditions that should warrant somebody to take loan, you know, indefinitely, even though you understand that, you know, under normal circumstances, it is not allowed. What are those pressures?
Let's say here is somebody who has completely run out of fish money. And
fish money?
Yes. That's the Abubakar, you know very well that if you don't give fish money, you will not be allowed to leave home. You know, the money that you give out to provide your basic need for yourself, your family, and your children. You have completely run out of money. Nobody is there to assist you in any other way. If you have a good friend, a Muslim, and a neighbor who can lend you money, by the end of the month you pay back the same thing. Don't go near the bank. Then here it is not. The principle of necessity will not apply because you are not under extreme need. You are not under extreme pressure. But if you cannot have anybody who can rescue you, if there is no shop that can give you the substance that you need, at the end of the month you settle, there is no way, and people have to eat.
Definitely.
The only way you can survive is to take this loan. Then definitely you will be allowed to take the loan and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that by next month you may be safe from this particular situation. So lending, whether you are at the recipient side or at the giving side, do not add any amount of money in trade. But again, it is also important to understand that the services that bank charges sometimes, particularly the service that they charge on current accounts, and you know, when they issue checks, you pay the facilities that they do within the bank. And for these facilities, they charge services. Those services are not haram. They are provided under Islamic law. So these are important principles that we should take into account.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for that explicit explanation. Now we move on to the debtors.
Yes.
Sometimes they will come and cry out of need.
Yes.
And then sometimes, fortunately, they will be given.
Yes.
But some people take loans with the intention of not paying.
Yes.
Some will even take loan, you know, by virtue of their circumstances, you know, and then you simply ask them to give it to them.
Yes.
At the end of the day, they will have money to pay you, but they will refuse to pay you.
Yes.
What is the penalty for that?
Yeah, those people also, they make life very difficult for themselves and for others. Like I have just explained, they must understand that when a person is being urged to lend money to another person, you know, with the single objective of helping or rescuing a particular situation, you know, and that is why you know, I just explained that these transactions are anchored in the principle of faith, iman in God, because you must believe that riba is haram. You must believe that business transactions are permitted. You also must believe that when you lend some money to some, you understand, you are doing it for the sake of God, because you are likely to get reward out of it, and you're also likely to get your money back. So on the other hand, also the lender, the debtor, must understand that he has no right over somebody's wealth or property. When somebody is kind enough to lend you any property or money,
no matter how small or how big,
you must. In fact, it's a matter of obligation. So if giving is sunnah, paying back becomes an obligation. It's mandatory. So and those of us that tend to be borrowing and they never intend to pay it back, that's hypocritical, it's haram, it's exploitative.
Some
also
live on that. They will keep on. I can remember during my school days in Kotu, I used to have a colleague I moved with. You know, because sometimes they give you lunch, it's not sufficient. Now you keep, you know, befriending shopkeepers. So sometimes if you don't have money, you go to him and then he will credit you the following day you pay. I have this friend. If we are used to one, if you befriend a shopkeeper, he will just come and then borrow something from him.
Yeah.
You know, after lending it, you know, and then after borrowing it, you know, the following day, you know, we will dodge. He will tell us. He will tell me that let's use the other way. You know,
to avoid him.
Yeah. And then we use the other way until we get used to another shopkeeper there. He does the same thing, and so at the end I'll tell him that you know what happens. You just keep moving, and I'll take the normal route.
Yeah. And you know, remember the longest ayah in in the Al-Quran al-Kareem, Ayatudain in Surah Al-Baqarah. This verse is the longest verse in the Holy Quran. It has, you know, dealt with the principle of lending in detail. You know, it has made it clear that when you borrow money, when you borrow anything from another person, let you people put it in writing. Why should it be put in writing? So that we will not forget. So that we will know when the time that it's due, how to settle it. You must settle it. If anybody owes anything to any person, he or she must settle unless it is forgiven.
Sorry, if you go in, if you borrow somebody something. Maybe the shopkeeper, you went to him, you need something, and you know he gives it to you. And then you keep taking, and unfortunately, there is no record of it. And then when you come to pay, and he tells you that actually I don't know how much you owe me. You know, you also don't know how much you owe him. And then you just take out $100. You think that what I take from you is within the range of $100. And then you give him $100, and you agree that if it is more than that, then you forgive me. If it is less than that, then I forgive. Can that agreement be
in fact,
acceptable in Islam?
That particular compromise is typically Islamic. In other words, each of you is absolutely honest. You do not know exactly how much you give him. He or she doesn't know exactly how much you give her. But you can just estimate. As believers in God, you agree that, look, take this and forgive me. If I have taken more than this, kindly forgive me. I will forgive you if I am paying you more than what I'm paying you. And this is, if that's the true picture of the situation, if this picture it reflects the true picture of the situation, then there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, is a very, very good an exemplary way of conducting relationships. And you know why the loan transactions should be written is in order to avoid such confusion. Because sometimes you see people fighting. Over you know, what one may be owing to another person. So in order to avoid any confusion, any fitna or fighting or misunderstanding, Al-Quran makes it very clear that they must be written. All the conditions, the modalities must be stipulated in writing, so that when the time comes for us to settle the loan, we follow the same conditions that we have agreed upon. And like I said in the previous programs, all the conditions are permitted except any condition that will lead them to haram. Then any condition that will lead them to haram, like I give you 10, by the end of the month you pay me back 11 or 12, that condition is leading to haram, and therefore those type of stipulations are not accepted on Islamic law.
Doctor, I think it is the plight of the people to have it that riba, you know, is not mixed up with their everyday life. Riba doesn't infiltrate their life. Now, what do you think should be the adjustments, the procedures or the strategies that will be adopted by not only banks, but institutions that deal in finance to ameliorate the problem of riba, you know, on the Muslim citizenry?
One of the ulama of Shafi'i, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Shawkani. He's also a mufassir. He said that riba is as haram, as bad as adultery and fornication, zina. That's the level of haram that he has given to riba. And like you are saying, he said, this being the case, any believer in God must avoid all forms of exploitation, all forms of riba and haram earning by all means. You understand? And on the other hand, also, the ulama said, it is the responsibility of the Islamic community, in their collectivity, and the collectivity and individual, to make sure that their financial institutions are established, governed, or conducted or operated in accordance with the teachings of Sharia. Like I have just explained, that ahalallahu al-bay'a wa harrama riba. You must know what can be called riba under Islamic law. You avoid it. And also you must understand that these principles are anchored in the principle of faith, that whatever you are asked to avoid, you must believe that you must avoid it.